Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm not in my normal setting. Because we've all gone back into lockdown, I thought I'd bring back my back to basic recipes for you. So here are a few really simple and easy recipes to follow using basic equipment and ingredients, and I hope you enjoy them. Chocolate fondants, or lava cakes as they're also known as, are not only absolutely delicious, but they're also really exciting to eat because you get that gooey inside. You may think that they are quite technical to make, but actually they're really not. As you can see, you don't need any special equipment, you just need to get the precise cooking time. But I'm going to guide you through how to make the batter and the best way of cooking it too. So the first step is to melt your butter and chocolate together. Now I always go on about the quality of your ingredients, and it's very apparent in this dessert. The better quality chocolate, the better tasting the fondant. You can do this in a microwave, you just need to be careful not to burn the chocolate, so do it in 20 to 30 second spurts. So whilst that's melting, I've got in a bowl some eggs and egg yolks. This is yet another recipe to use up egg yolks, so if you usually have leftovers, this is a great way to use them. I'm going to sift in some icing sugar into the eggs, and I'm going to pass the sugar through the sieve using a cup to avoid any powdery mess. And then I'm going to whisk that together. So what I'm trying to do here is get rid of any icing sugar lumps and get it a little bit lighter. Now it won't thicken up like eggs and sugar usually do, you just want it well combined. And using icing sugar really reduces the sweetness of this dessert, but it's not too bitter either. For me, it's a perfect balance. Once the chocolate and butter has melted, just make sure it's not too hot, otherwise it will start cooking the eggs. So I've left it resting for a couple of minutes before I add it into the eggs and sugar. And I'm going to keep the eggs and sugar whisking just in case it is a little on the hot side. And you want all the chocolate and butter into the eggs and sugar and mix that through. I am using a whisk here because I find it the easiest way to incorporate all the ingredients and avoid any lumps too. So once that's all mixed in, I'm now going to sieve together the flour and the cocoa powder. Now it's really important to always sieve cocoa powder more than flour because cocoa powder tends to clump a lot and you don't want any lumps of cocoa powder in this. You want a really smooth batter. And now I'm going to use a spatula and fold that into all the other ingredients. So you can see that I am using pretty standard cake ingredients, and what a fondant is basically a slightly undercooked cake. But it is a slightly richer cake because it's got real chocolate in there, it's got egg yolks and a lot of cocoa powder too. So once that's all combined, it should be a smooth batter. Now the best way to cook a fondant is to actually chill the batter, because when you cook it from cold, only the outside cooks first and the inside remains gooey. And that's what you want to achieve when you're cooking a melt-in-the-middle fondant dessert. So you can either leave it in the bowl and then when it comes to filling your molds, you can just simply spoon it in, but using a piping bag does make it that little bit easier. So I'm going to place the piping bag into a long glass and fill the batter. And you can see how runny this batter is, and then you'll see how much it firms up after. There's quite a lot of batter here, and I've only got medium-sized piping bags. So I'm going to fill a couple, twist the top so it doesn't come out, and place this in the fridge for at least an hour for it to firm up. But the longer you leave it, the better. So when it comes to cooking your fondant, you want to prepare your molds properly. I've got these small silver cups, but you can cook them in ramekins or you can actually buy specific fondant molds too. But I've got to say, these disposable cups actually work a treat. What I've got here is some melted butter, and I'm just going to brush a small amount over the inside of the cup. And then I'm going to go in with a teaspoon of cocoa powder and line the tin with a layer of cocoa powder. So the cocoa powder is now going to stick to the butter. And like with any cake, it's vital to prepare your tin or molds before cooking to avoid any disasters when it comes out the tin. So I now have an even coating of cocoa powder in the tin. So I've had my fondant mix in the fridge for about 2 hours and it's completely firmed up. And I'm now going to fill the cup, and the oven has been preheating at 180 degrees Celsius. I'm going to fill the cup about 3/4 full. And when it comes to cooking, it does depend on how big or small your fondants are. But a general rule is around 12 minutes. So I'm going to set an alarm for 12 minutes exactly and check to see if it's done, and I'll point out exactly what you're looking for too. If you think your fondants are on the smaller side, maybe set an alarm for 10 minutes and check after that. I'm going to place this cup onto a baking tray and put it into the middle of the oven and set my timer. So this is after 12 minutes exactly. And you can see that I've kind of got this ring of cooked cake, but the middle is slightly sunken and still looks runny. Now this is exactly what you're looking for when it comes to cooking a chocolate fondant, because that runny center is the runny center that's gonna come out when you serve it. You want to leave it in the mold as it comes out the oven for about a minute, just to firm up, because if you do outturn it and it's too soft, it will just collapse. So once the minute's up, carefully, and try and cross your fingers at the same time, outturn it onto the serving plate, and it should come out the tin extremely cleanly like this. And there you go, that is a chocolate fondant. Now it obviously looks perfect from the outside, but what you really want to see is that gooey, runny filling. So here goes. Ah. That moment of pure satisfaction. You can see that middle is super runny, but the outside is still cooked. So you have that combination of fresh, soft chocolate cake and a runny center. And that's exactly what you're looking for from a chocolate fondant or lava cake. The best part about this dessert is that you can make the batter and keep it in the fridge for about 3 to 4 days and cook them off whenever you want. I'll put the relevant links below for the molds as well. And I can't wait to see your version of these chocolate fondants. Some people also like putting white chocolate in the middle or even peanut butter, but for me, keeping it plain and classic is just the best. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and we'll see you soon for more tutorials.